Bcom semester 1 economics chapter number 3. So guys, yesterday we were discussing about elasticity of demand and we have started our new chapter, that is chapter number 3, elasticity of demand. Under this chapter we have discussed some of the points and today we are going to start from where we have left yesterday. So let's see what we have already discussed in the chapter. First we were discussing about the meaning of elasticity of demand, that you know it very well now. After that, we have discussed meaning of price elasticity of demand. Then we discuss some of the methods that were. Let me show you. Okay. So second point was meaning of price elasticity of demand, then measurement of price elasticity of demand. Then we have seen two different method, total outlay method and percentage change method. After that, we have discussed in our first and second part types of price elasticity of demand. Under that, we have discussed perfectly elastic demand, and there are five different types of price elasticity of demand. And then we were discussing about point elasticity and arc elasticity. I have told you that point elasticity is quite complex point, but you just need to study it very calmly and patiently, then you will come to know and understand the point quite well. Then we were discussing about see, this is arc elasticity that we already have discussed. And okay, then we were discussing about factor affecting price elasticity of demand. There are some factors which affect the price elasticity of demand that we were discussing. Under that, we have already discussed the possibility of substitutions. Then what is the substitute product, what are complementary products, and how they affect to the price elasticity of demand. After that, we were discussing about the nature of product, and in the nature of product we were discussing about necessity and conventional necessities. The products which have primary needs will not be much affected by the price elasticity of demand, but the product which are not considered as a primary need have we can say a positive, or we can say greater than one elasticity, price elasticity of demand. Then we also discussed about luxurious goods, we also discussed about goods with several uses. Under that, we have taken an example of electricity. After that, now we will start with durable goods. Now, what are durable goods? Durable goods are the goods which can be stored for long time. So demands for goods which are serviceable over a period of time tends to be more elastic. These goods are durable consumption goods like fountain pens, shoes, etc. If the price of shoes goes up, it is likely that customer will postpone their purchases of uh, new pair for quite some time. The demand will thus be adversely affected. In case of furniture or building also, the demand can be postponed and therefore it is elastic. So guys, you need to understand that how the durable goods are quite elastic compared to the other goods. So what are the durable goods? Durable goods are the goods which can be stored and which can be used for quite long time. So if the price of shoes, or we can say if the price of furniture is increased, people can easily postpone the planning of purchasing such kind of products. So this can be a very elastic for we can say it has a very great elasticity of the product. Now, the next point is level of prices. The demand for goods whose price are either very high or very low is inelastic. Generally, very high price goods are purchased by the rich and hence their demand is inelastic. Similarly, very low price goods are generally necessaries and hence the demand for them is inelastic. So guys, or we have already taken an example of salt, that the price of salt is very low. The price of peat is very low. So there are several products which has a very low price, and when the price of salt is increased, for example, now in present scenario we can get 1 kg of salt in just rupees 10. So when price of salt is increased by by 1 rupees, and now the price of salt is 11 rupees for 1 kg, then people will not change their demand for the salt. So the price who has very low price have no elasticity of the price on the demand, and the product which has high price, then it will be bought by the rich class people and they just want to show their status. So the high priced and costly product will be purchased by them. So as the price will be increased, they will be more attracted to buy the product. So the high priced, or we can say the low price products, have no such elasticity of demand. Now, guys, we will see time interval. Time interval is one of the factors which affect the price elasticity of demand. Now, we will see how it is affect the price elasticity of demand. We will see shorter the period of time allowed for demand to adjust to a change in the price, less is the uh, price elasticity. Is sufficient long period allowed, elasticity of demand is likely to be more. Thus, time interval also is a factor affecting price elasticity of demand. To be more clear, here guys, you need to focus on price elasticity of demand for any commodity tends to be less in short period as compared to the long period. When price falls, demand may not respond immediately, but with the passage of time, the impact of price changes become more and more visible. There are three reasons for it. So, guys, here we have three different reasons in the time interval that how the time affect the price elasticity of demand. The first one is habit and traditions. Guys, you need to focus on that how the habits and tradition affect the price elasticity of demand. But guys, you need to understand that what is the price elasticity of demand. Price elasticity of demand means percentage change in the price, and the relationship between percentage change in price and percentage change in the demand of the product. So when the price rises, the demand of the product will be fall down, and when the price fall down, the demand of product will raise. So according to the change in the price, how much percentage of the change will get in the demand of the product. So this is what the price elasticity of demand. Under that, now we are discussing factor affecting price elasticity of demand. So in the factor, now we are discussing time interval. So guys, we need to focus that how the time is affecting factor of price elasticity of demand. In that, the first point is habits and traditions. Let's see, if price of coffee falls, those people who are habituated with tea cannot immediately replace tea with coffee. So guys, you need to understand that when the price of coffee falls, people will attract to buy a coffee than tea. So people who are habituated to drink tea wants to buy coffee because now the price of coffee is low compared to tea. So in this case, people will not easily switch over from tea to coffee. They need to have time. They need to change their habit from tea to coffee. So guys, let's read. If the price of coffee falls, those people who are habituated with tea cannot immediately replace tea with coffee. Habits take time to change. Therefore, it is only in the long run that demand for coffee will expand and that of tea will fall perceptibly. What is true for habits is true for the traditions also. Due to inflammatory price rise, some of the tradition associated with the marriage and date ceremonies gradually being shunned by the people in our society. For example, so guys, here we have given the example of marriage function and death ceremony. So we can clearly understand that when the price of coffee falls, we can say the demand of coffee will be increased. You can easily understand that because when the price of any product falls, its demand will increase. That what the law of demand says. So when the price of coffee falls, people who drink tea will switch over from tea to coffee, but it will take time. So this is how the time affect the price elasticity of demand. Now we have the second point, that is technical hurdles. There are some products which can be used along with their complementary goods only. If per unit price of electricity is reduced, household will be tempted to consume it more. But this would require them to purchase iron, fan, TV sets, etc. For this reason, consumption of electricity takes time to respond to change in its price. So, guys, this point says that there are some points which need some complementary goods to use. Suppose the price of electricity is fall down. Suppose the price of electricity falls down, people people will be ready to use more electricity because now the price of electricity is fall down. But to use electricity, they need to have um, some that product which can be used for electricity. For example, people need to have fan, people need to have washing machine, people need to have air conditioner, people need to have iron, people need to have mixer grinder, people need to have blender. So there are some electric products that need to be bought by the people so that they can use electricity. So when the price of electricity falls down, people are ready to use electricity, but for that they need to buy some other products also. So to buy some other products, they need to save the money, and they need to means want some time to buy such kind of products. So for example, today the price of electricity fall down, so people many people will not be able to buy refrigerator or air conditioner in a day. They need to save their money to buy such kind of goods. So it will also take a time to reflect the demand of electricity in the market. So guys, here this is what the technical hurdles. And now the third point, that is market imperfection. What is that? All consumer in the vast market cannot be informed of the favorable change in the price of goods. Therefore, it is only after some time when they get the information of price fall, the demand for goods expand perceptibly. So guys, market imperfection means it is about the communication system. So when the price of the product falls down, the information of price fall will take time to reach to each and every person. So as the news, or we can say as the information of price fall reach to the people, then people will try to buy more and more product from the market. So again, it will take time to be reflected in the market. And the fourth point, that is importance of the commodity in the consumer's budget. The importance of commodity in consumer budget is indicated by the proportion of income they spend on it. The larger the proportion of income spent, the greater is the importance of the commodity in consumers budget. It is found that the demand for goods on which people spend very small portion of their income is less elastic, while demand for goods on which they spend a very large portion of their income is more elastic. So guys, again the 4 point says that, for example, I earn 10,000 per month, and from 10,000 I spend 4,000 on food. So majority of my income will be spent on the food. So food is more elastic for me. But as well as it is also the primary requirement, so it might not be elastic. But other than food, I will save 6,000. From that 6,000, for example, I spend 2,000 for watching movie every month. So when the price of movie tickets will raise, I will stop watching movies. And when the price of movie ticket will fall, I will we can say I will try to watch more movies. So as the majority of the part of my income is spent on a particular for a particular product, then the demand for that particular product is less elastic. But if I spend less money for some product, then that product will be more elastic for me. So guys, this is what all about the factor affecting price elasticity of demand. Now we will move further and discuss importance of the concept of elasticity of price. So now here are some of the importance for the price elasticity of demand. The first one is theoretical significance. How what are the different significance? Then let me discuss that. The concept of price elasticity is considered to be one of the most important contributions in economic theory. The law of demand describes only the direction of change in quantity demanded when there is a change in price. It does not quantify the change in price and consequent change in quantity demanded. This deficiency of law of demand is removed by the introducing the concept of price elasticity of demand. But practical significance of the concept is even more praiseworthy. The concept of price elasticity of demand is practically useful in many fields of economic policy. This will be clear from the following discussion. So guys, the one is theoretical significance. what are the importance of price elasticity of demand? Why do we need to study price elasticity of demand? So here are the importance, and for this reason we need to study price elasticity of demand, because in the theoretical significance it says that we all know very well that what the law of demand is. In the law of demand we understand that when the price fall down, the demand of product will be increased, but when price rises, the demand of product will fall down. So in the law of demand we just get an idea about the directions, that how the price and demand will be interconnected and how they will change. But in the we can say in the price elasticity of demand we can get clearly idea that if the price is increased by 10%, then how much change will be get in the demand of the product. So we can get clear idea about the we can say the proportionate change in the price and the demand. And we can also know that if the price will be decreased by 10%, then what change will get in the demand of the product. So this is quite more significant idea compared to the law of demand. So we can say in other words that law of demand is just a rough idea about price and demand, but the price elasticity of demand gives us a clear scenario about the proportionate and the percentage change in the price and the demand, and how they are interconnected with each other. Now, the second significance is practical significance. In the practical significance, we will see the first one is to the producer. How the price elasticity of demand is important for the producer. So, guys, if you are producer and if you do not have the knowledge of price elasticity of demand, then you may have suffered some of the losses. So being a producer, you need to study about price elasticity of demand. Why a producer need to study about price elasticity of demand? Then let's read. The consumer aims at utility maximization, but producer's goal is profit maximization. Price setting is perhaps the prime factor affecting profit. While deciding the price of his product, the producer has to take into consideration the elasticity of demand for this product. He will change high price if the demand for his product is inelastic, as that will not lead any significant fall in the demand. Alternatively, if the demand for his product is elastic, he will reduce price, as the loss on the account of reduction in the price will much less than overall gain due to expansion of demand and increase in total revenue. So guys, what does this mean? Guys, this is really an important concept, that being a producer I need to have such kind of knowledge that if the product I produce is elastic. Elastic means what? Elastic means when the price of my product is high, then demand of my product is very low in the market. And when the price of my product is low, the demand of my product is high in the market. So we can say my product is elastic. And if my product is inelastic, means no matter what the price of my product, but the demand will remain the same. So when my product is inelastic, I can set any price in the market. For example, my product is inelastic, I can set price at 10, I can set price for 15 for the product. Then people will buy the same product. There will be no change in the demand. But if my product is elastic, then I will try to set my price of the product as possible as low, because as the price of my product is low, people will buy more and more of it. So this is how I can increase my profit in the market. So for producer to set the price of the product, knowledge of price elasticity of demand is very important. Now we will see the second point is to the monopolist. How the knowledge of price elasticity of demand is important for the monopolist. Even the monopolist cannot afford to neglect the price of elasticity of demand for his product. The demand curve of monopolist is sloping downwards. He has therefore to reduce the price to sell more. He will weigh the loss in sales and the gain in revenue due to price rise. So guys, if you are if you have the market, your product is in the monopolistic market, then also you need to have the knowledge of price elasticity of demand, because if your product is elastic with the price, then you need to set your price as possible as low, so that you can increase your demand in the market. Then the third point is in the determination of the price of joint product. What is joint product? So we can take an example of complementary and substitutory product. Let's see, in the pricing of joint products like cotton and cotton seeds, or wheat and straw, etc., the concept of price elasticity of demand is much use because in such cases separate cost of production of each commodity is not known exactly. Hence, the price of each commodity is fixed on the basis of its price elasticity of demand in the markets. So, guys, this is not about complementary product, but suppose in one production process, I can produce two different things. For example, we can say that by producing the oil, by producing the edible oil, I can also produce with the I can also produce some we can say we can take an example of some grain for the animals, or we can take an example of some other things, that by producing cotton there will be the seeds of cotton also. So both are sellable, both are being sold in the market. So by producing the cotton can also be sold in the market, and the seeds that come out from the cotton will also be sold in the market. So to set the price of the product, I will be confused that what will be the price of the product of the cotton and of the seeds in the market. So I will see that among both these product, whose demand, and who can say whose which product is quite highly elastic with the price. Then the product which is quite highly elastic with the price, I will set low price for it, and the product who is not elastic with the price, I will set more price for it. So for the joint products, the knowledge of price elasticity of demand is also very important. And the fourth point encourages producers to incur selling cost. The concept of price elasticity encourages producers to spend more on advertising. They try thereby to make demand for their product less elastic, so that it may be possible to increase the price without losing sales much. So guys, when the price of product, or we can say our product is quite have we can say elastic with price, then it will encourage the producer to spend more on the advertisement and selling cost. And they by doing advertisement, they just try to convince the people so that they will buy your product easily. And this is how it encourages the producer to incur selling cost more. The fifth point is uh, to the trade union. One of the important function of the trade union leaders is to use weapon of collecting bargaining to raise wages, DS, etc. DA means daily allowances for their members. These leaders knowingly or probably unknowingly make use of the concept of elasticity of demand for the labor before pressuring the management for the wage raise. If they are convinced that the employer firm cannot do without labor, that is, if demand for labor is inelastic, they will press the button rather strongly. If the demand for labor is elastic, the trade unionist would not be successful in their efforts to press the higher wages. So, guys, here is the case of trade union, and it is about the elasticity of labor, not for the product. But guys, here will also here the concept of price elasticity of demand will also work for the same. For example, any company or any factory needs labor to work in their factory, but they do not have any labors, and at that point of time they have very scarcity of the labors. Then the trade union will try to then a trade union will pressurize the factories to give more wages to the laborers, because they do not have any other alternative. And they have the monopoly of the labor, so the factory needs to have the labor, so they will be ready to pay more wages to the laborers and get laborers from the market. But the demand, or we can say, but the demand of the labor is quite elastic. Then the trade union cannot pressure the company to have the we can say to increase the wages of the laborers, because um, the laborers are easily available in the market. Then the sixth point is to the finance minister. How the price elasticity of demand is helpful to the finance minister? Let's see. The finance minister is abided by the concept of price elasticity of demand. His function is to raise maximum possible revenue for his government with minimum opposition. He would succeed in the raising more revenue if he imposes or raises tax on articles of mass consumption. Having inelastic demand, the demand is being inelastic. Even if higher taxes raise prices, the demand would not contract very much. So, guys, here how the price elasticity of demand is helpful to the finance minister. Let me say that, for example, there are two different kind of product. The one is quite highly elastic with the price, and other is quite inelastic with the price. Now the product which is elastic with the price means when the price of product raises, its demand will fall down. So finance minister needs to decide the rate of taxes on the product. So finance minister always choose the product which are quite inelastic with the price, and he will decide tax on that product because the product which are quite inelastic with the price, when government impose tax on such kind of product, then also people will buy those products because those products are quite inelastic with the price. But when government decide to impose tax on the elastic price on the product which are quite elastic with the price, then by imposing the tax, the price of product will be increased. And when the price of product will be increased, people will not ready to buy a product, and the demand of those product will be decreased in the market. So this is how it is. The knowledge of price elasticity demand is helpful to the finance minister also. Now the seventh point is to decide public utilities. The government decision to declare certain industries as public utilities depend on the elasticity of demand for the product. Only those industries are taken over as public utilities by state or the demand for whose product is inelastic. Example, electricity and water supply. So this is how the knowledge of price elasticity demand is useful to decide the public utilities. Now the eighth point is determination of prices of public utilities. Price elasticity of demand helps in fixing prices for the service rendering by public utilities where demand is inelastic. High price is charged for the example electricity used by factories where demand is elastic. Lower price is charged for example electricity used by domestic consumer. So guys, government decide that where to charge high and where to charge low. When electricity is used by factories, then the rate of per unit of electricity is high. If you are running factory and you are using electricity, then your electricity bill will be very high compared to the common household, because the price rate of per unit of electricity is very high for factories, but the price rate of per unit of the electricity is low for common household, because government know that the common household and the people are quite very sensitive for the price of electricity. But for the factory will not consider much about the electricity price. They will use the electricity for at whatever the rate they are given the electricity by the government. So government will decide high rate for the factories for the electricity, but low rate for the common people and the households. Then the ninth point is deciding devaluation. In deciding on the devaluation of local currency uh, versus foreign currency, the government will seriously consider the elasticity of demand for both export and imports. Devaluation can be wise choice only if the demand for export and import is elastic. Now, what is devaluation? Devaluation means at present, for example, $1 is equal to 70 Indian rupees. Guys, devaluation means $1 is equal to 70 Indian rupees. Now, when our government do the devaluation of our currency, then it will be $1 is equal to, for example, 80 rupees, 90 rupees, 100 rupees. So our currency has devalued. So the value of our currency will be decreased. Then what happened? For example, by devaluing the currency, foreign people will get our product very cheap, very cheap, or at, we can say at very low price, because now their currency have more power. For example, at present, uh, the people of America can buy 70 rupees of the product by giving $1. If they will give us $1, we give them the product which costs 70 rupees. But by devaluing our currency, and now, for example, our government has devalued our currency, and now at present, for example, $1 is equal to 100 rupees. Then by devaluing the currency, they will get 100 rupees product for $1. Before the devaluation, they would get only 70 rupees product for $1, but after devaluation of the currency, they will get 100 rupees product for $1. So when the products are quite elastic means when the price of product fall down, people will demand more product for means the demand of product will be increased. So when the products are quite elastic, government can decide the devaluation of the currency, and by devaluation of the currency, government will be able to export more goods, because the people of other countries quite get we can say cheap product compared to before, compared to the product, the price of product in other countries. Now the next point, that is determination of gains from international trade. The gains from international trade depend on the elasticity of demand for export and imports. We will gain from international trade if demand for export goods in foreign markets is inelastic and demand for import goods in the local market is elastic. So guys, this is how the determination of gains from internal trade is also important, because when the product are quite inelastic and when the product are elastic with the price, there will be different situation of gain from the international market. And 11th point, that is to explain the paradox of poverty in the midst of the plenty. So let's see, sometimes it is observed that rich harvest ruins the farmers and vice versa. This is none the paradox of poverty in the midst of plenty. This paradox can be explained in terms of concept of elasticity. Since demand for agricultural product, especially food grains, is inelastic, a bumper crop is followed by a large fall in their prices, and therefore total revenue of the farmers goes down. Thus, bumper crop may be curse for the farmers. So, guys, for some season when there will be a very good rain, and each and every farmer grow more and more, and they will get high production of the food grains. Then what happen when the supply is very high? Then the price of food, or we can say price of food grains, will be fall down, and farmer will not get adequate price, or we can say proper price of their production in the market. So this can be said that the bumper crop may be curse for the farmers. So guys, this is what all about today's lecture. In this lecture we have discussed all about the factor affecting, or we can say the factor affecting price elasticity of demand, and also importance of the concept of price elasticity of demand. Now in next lecture we will discuss about the average return, marginal return and the elasticity of price, and the topics which are left in the chapter. So guys, this is our third part of the third lecture of this chapter, and in upcoming lecture we will conclude this chapter also. So this is or this is what all about the price elasticity of demand in this lecture. And now we will continue with the new lecture with new topic in the next lecture. Thank you guys. Goodbye.